Hey, hope you guys had a really great Christmas. Today we're going to be talking about home defense and kind of your choices for what type of weapon system you want to use primarily for your main home defense weapon. So we're going to be going over pistols, AR-15, and shotguns, and kind of the pros and cons of those different three choices. So yeah, first off, we're going to go over pistols. So if you're a concealed carry type guy, you have a pistol. Whether the pistol you carry every day is going to be your like nightstand gun or not is up to you. But for me it is. So I carry a Glock 19, and this thing, is fairly tricked out, has a weapon light. This is a Surefire XC1, has a Trichicon RMR. And these are two upgrades that would be great for a home defense situation. So if there's a home invasion, chances are it's more than one person. I hope you never are in a situation where your home gets invaded versus just a regular burglary while you're gone. I mean, I hope your house never gets burglarized either while you're gone, but a home invasion is a really horrible situation to be in. So chances are it's going to be at night. Chances are there's going to be more than one invader. We're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 guys armed, maybe not armed, but probably armed with at least something. Whether they have guns or not, or rifles or not, is kind of a variable, but almost always is going to be multiple attackers. So you're going to want a handgun that gives you some advantages. So if you're concealed carrying something like this, great. If not, you want one for your nightstand, awesome too. Do you need a red dot? No. Do you need a weapon mounted light? I would say yes. So some pros and cons to a handgun. And a handgun has a lot of pros, especially if you're a concealed carry guy and your home defense gun is that gun that you carry. Hopefully, that's the gun you practice with the most, that's the gun you're most familiar with, and that's the gun that you're best with as well. So if you're carrying something like this is a Glock 19 here, and really this goes for any pistol, you can operate it one-handed. Magazine capacity, if you're using some kind of semi-auto pistol, unless you're using something like a 1911, and a 1911 is a great gun. I love 1911s, shoot them, they shoot incredibly well, but they don't have the capacity that I would really want out of a handgun. So if you're a 1911 guy and you use that for home defense, I'm sure it's a great gun, but I would always opt for more capacity. So I'd take a 9mm double stack over a 45 single stack any day of the week. If you disagree with that, you can let me know in the comments, but so we'll assume you're going for a double stack 9mm, or if you're a 40 guy, or a double stack 45 if you're going crazy, that's great too. But you want high capacity gun. So Glock 19, 15 rounds, Glock 17, 17 rounds. You have something like an XDM, has 19 rounds, or if you get some of these extended magazines and you have a whole lot of rounds, and that's great because you probably will have multiple attackers. So you want as many rounds as you can have. So the pros to a handgun. Pros to a handgun is you can operate it with one hand. So if you have kids in the house, or you have furniture you need to move away, or something runs out and you need to like restrain them or hold them back, you can. You can operate your gun with one hand, but you can still have your other hand free to do whatever you need to. You can shoot easier from close retention. If you're walking down the hallway or something and someone jumps out at you, you can still keep control of your weapon and fight them off if you need to. Again, I'd recommend finding a reputable instructor and getting some training for that type of stuff. But your handgun is going to be easier in close quarter environments because you don't have this 16-inch barrel sticking out the front. So handgun has some really good pros when it comes to having your other hand free, being able to control this easily. But what it doesn't have is knockdown power. A handgun is never going to be as powerful as a rifle. I mean, unless you are talking about like a .22 rifle. But I'm talking about like a AR-15, 5.56, or an AK 7.62 or whatever. A handgun isn't going to have the power, and it isn't going to have the capacity of something like an AR-15. So yeah, 15 rounds here. I could have 17. I could, have a extension, and I could have up to maybe like 25 rounds, and that's a lot. You have a handgun with 25 rounds, and that's a good amount, but it's still not going to be as much as a standard capacity 30 round AR-15 mag, much less a 40 or 60 round mag. So your capacity is going to be not as good, and your actual power of the cartridge isn't going to be as good. So some pros some cons. I would say this is the number one or number two choice in home defense. I would choose this over a shotgun any day of the week, but I would choose an AR-15 over this if given the option. So your shotgun, it may be something like this. This is a crazy home defense type shotgun, and it is an 8-round capacity in the tube, plus what do I have here? 6 plus 5 plus 11, so I have 19 rounds total I can have in this shotgun. 19 whole rounds with all this junk on there. And that's still falling short of some handguns out there, and it's falling short of an AR-15. And additionally, look how long this thing is, and it's heavy, and it's bulky, and you may have a semi-auto, and that's a little better, but this is a pump. So operating it is a lot of work, and a shotgun, a lot of people think you just point it in the direction of the person, but that's not it at all. Especially in your house, you're working at maybe 10 yards max, maybe if you have a really big house, 20 yards or something, and your spread's gonna be really small. You still really have to aim a shotgun if you're planning on taking down an attacker. Then you have your shell choices. Will you do buckshot? Will you do birdshot? Will you do a slug? What's it gonna be? I wouldn't recommend a slug for home defense, and I wouldn't even really recommend buckshot. I would go for the smaller buck if you're going to use buckshot, but the penetration on this is going to go through so many walls for a slug, and it's going to go through so many walls for buckshot. What people don't know is that a shotgun penetrates an insane amount of drywall. So if you're living by yourself out on a farm, you don't have neighbors or anything, then maybe it's an alright option for the penetration factor. But if you're living in a house, in a neighborhood, in an apartment, something like that, you probably want to steer clear of this unless you really know where you're shooting it. And then you might say, oh, well, what about birdshot? Yeah, birdshot won't penetrate walls, but it also won't penetrate your couch if an attacker's on the other side of the couch. And it won't, depending on where you hit them, it's not going to take them down. Birdshot just doesn't penetrate flesh into the vital organs as much as it needs to. Will it knock someone down if you get a good shot on them? Sure, but it's not going to be my first choice. So you have this. The cons are it's long, it's big, it's heavy. For a pump shotgun, you cannot operate it one-handed no matter what, unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I mean, most people can actually do that, but capacity's not there. And yeah, it's just, it wouldn't be my choice. A double barrel shotgun for sure wouldn't be my choice. I mean, Joe Biden would choose it, but I would not. So maybe a semi-auto shotgun would be the best choice, or a pump would be the second best, but this thing is long, unwieldy. You're going down a hall like this, somebody can easily grab the end and control that from you or rip it out of your hands. It's just not a good choice. I mean, yeah, you have the quintessential. Is that a scary noise? Yeah, it totally is a scary noise, but a noise isn't enough for most attackers. There's a lot of internet debate on this, whether a noise scares someone away or doesn't. It may not, but I don't want to rely on a noise. I want to rely on putting a bullet between the people's eyes. I want to take them down if they're in my house and they're going to cause me harm. So I want to rely on more than noise, and noise is the main pro of a shotgun. So shotgun really isn't my choice. If it's your choice, I might watch the next part of my video right now about an AR-15. All right, so then our other option, I mean, we could have AKs, we could have SCARs, we could have all kinds of other guns, but for the sake of this video, I'm going with the AR-15 as your carbine type gun. So this is technically an AR-15 pistol. This is a pistol brace, though I would recommend a pistol or an SBR. What we're going for is a shorter barrel and a shorter overall length here for the rifle, or pistol in this case. So if you're going for the 5.56 cartridge, you're going to want at least a 10.5-inch barrel. This is an 11.5-inch, which I would recommend even over a 10.5-inch. But you want to keep the overall length of the gun short. The beauty of the 5.56 cartridge, which is really surprisingly not well known amongst the defensive crowd, is that a 5.56 cartridge will penetrate less drywall than a slug, than buckshot, than a 9mm, than a 45, than a 40. A 5.56 is going to be your least penetrating round when it comes to drywall. And the reason behind that is because it hits and tumbles. It's a high-speed round. And as it tumbles, it's more surface area going through drywall, slowing the bullet down more. So your AR-15 is generally going to penetrate less drywall than even a handgun. So that is one reason that it makes it a huge bonus, and that's a huge pro for the AR-15 round if you're living in an apartment, if you're living in a house with neighbors, all that good stuff. So the 5.56 round or 223 is a great round because it doesn't penetrate as much drywall as a lot of other options out there. The other thing that's good about AR-15 is, can you operate it one-handed in a pinch? Yeah, you can. Is it going to be as good as two-hand? No, not even close. But if you need to, you can still do this and do whatever you need to with this hand and still engage an attacker with this. The other thing about it is you have your rails to put accessories on. You can accessorize this thing. And some accessories are good. I would say for a home defense rifle or any kind of battle type rifle, you're going to want iron sights at a minimum, obviously, so you can aim your gun. And you're going to want a weapon mounted light, a flashlight on the end of your gun, especially in a home defense scenario where someone might cut your power. Maybe at night, power may go out. Any number of things where you'd want a flashlight on your gun to identify your target, so you don't shoot your dog or your neighbor that came into your house or your daughter that's walking around. You want to be able to identify the target. So a flashlight is a for sure plus. Another option is a red dot. And I'm going to make a separate video on how to set up your AR-15 for home defense. I'm not going too much into it, but a red dot is great. Easy target acquisition. Red dots are amazing. So then you have capacity here. So this is 30 rounds, and this is actually 60 rounds because I'm using a mag coupler here. This rifle isn't very heavy with even 60 rounds of ammo on tap here. So do you need a magazine coupler? Do you need 60 rounds on tap? Hopefully not. I mean, if you do, you're in a crazy situation. However, crazy situations are out there, and I would like to be prepared. So you can have a ton of ammo just right on board here. And chances are I'm going to be jumping up out of bed in my boxers. I'm not going to have a battle belt on or a plate carrier or any of that good stuff. If you have time to get all your whole battle gear on, go for it. But probably you're not. So AR-15 is easy to aim. It's quick target acquisition. You can get a shorter barrel on here. It's not sticking out so far. Mine is set up with a suppressor, which would be great because shooting an AR-15 or any gun in your house is going to be deafening. That's why I would recommend keeping ear protection, electronic ear protection by your bed, by your gun, by your home defense weapon. However you have that thing set up, keep a pair of electronic ear pro. It'll help you hear sounds because it'll magnify quiet noises, and it'll obviously lessen extreme noises, which they are going to be in your house. So my choice for home defense, really, if you can swing it, is a short-barreled AR-15 in 5.56. Do I want a 6.5 or do a 300 blackout or 458 SOCOM or any of those? Probably not for home defense. I want a 5.56 because, as I mentioned earlier, the penetration. So yeah, real quick rundown. Pistol, great, small, easy to manipulate. You can use it one-handed, has a fair amount of ammunition capacity in the magazine, and it's probably something you're comfortable shooting. Cons are it's not as powerful a round as you'll get out of an AR-15 or a shotgun, but still a really great option. I would highly recommend a pistol for home defense, mainly because you can use two hands and it's easy for close quarters. So pistol, great option for home defense. Shotgun, I just wouldn't recommend it, guys. These things are big, heavy, not much ammo. You really got to choose your ammunition. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll load birdshot, but then they'll be behind something, and what? I'm going to put a buckshot into the chamber for taking out that guy. Shotguns are cool. I wouldn't recommend one for home defense if you can access either of the other two options that I recommended for the video. And then we got obviously our AR-15. So what we have here is a relatively short package if you go for a 10.5 or 11.5 or 12.5 inch barrel. Even if you want to go for a 16 inch, it's not that long overall. We have penetration with the 5.56 through drywall is minimal. I mean, you're going to go through a few walls, but it's going to be less than you will with a pistol. Also, easy attachments that are going to improve your performance with a gun. Now, in a gunfight, you want to add anything on that's going to help you, but you don't want to add too much. You don't want all kinds of stuff hanging off this rifle. This is about the minimum that I would want on a rifle, but also pretty much the maximum I would want on a rifle for a home defense type rifle. So easy accessories, stuff that'll give you an advantage, an edge over your attackers, light, red dot, etc., and just a ton of ammunition on hand for you. And again, I'm going to make another video on really how to set up your AR-15 for home defense. And then, yeah, the last thing is make sure whatever gun you have has a light on it, and keep some electronic ear probe by your bed. I'm not going too much into home security and all kinds of other things. I just wanted to make a relatively short video just on your weapon choices, and these are kind of the three main ones that I think you're going to be wondering, what should I choose? All right, again, sorry this video wasn't super detailed, but I just wanted to get one out there quick for you guys because I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. I've been busy with all kinds of stuff. I hope you had a great Christmas and you're going to have a great New Year's as well, if I even put this video out before New Year's. If I don't, Happy New Year's. I hope that went great too. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. And if you have anything to add or comment or ask questions about, feel free to do so in the comment section below. If you want to give me some advice or say, oh, you're completely wrong about that, I'd love to hear it because I don't know everything all the time. I'm wrong about some stuff and always learning, just like hopefully you are. So if I say anything wrong in this video, I apologize. Correct me in the comments below, and then I'll release, future content moving forward with that added bit of education. All right, thanks a lot. Take care.